Good morning and welcome to Veterans Heartbeat on the Pulse of the Veteran, where we discuss issues of health, happiness, opportunity, and well-being of interest to the veteran community, their families, and the community who honors them.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Veterans Heartbeat, brought to you by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. My name is Jason Zencraft. My co-host, Ed Lasofsky, is here with me, and he is the Executive Director of River. We welcome you to a weekly wide-ranging discussion of issues, events, opportunities, and needs in our veteran community. Morning, Ed. How are you doing?
Morning, Jason.
We'd also like to thank our other sponsor, The Man Shop. It's a great place for a guy to get a haircut. If you need a haircut, swing on by and check them out. The gals there do a great job. We're also sponsored by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research, who offer many services to veterans, such as a weekly free vestibular testing clinic and educational programs that focus on veterans helping veterans.
This morning, we've got Luke Urick from Eagle Mount over in Great Falls. Morning, Luke.
How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. So, Luke, tell me a little bit about Eagle Mount. Tell me your job, what you do, what you guys are going through.
Yeah, so, well, the first thing to kind of clarify, so we're the Montana Vet Program, but we fall under Eagle Mount Great Falls. This is 501c3 designator, right? So we are their veteran program. And so Eagle Mount provides therapeutic recreational activities to disabled individuals who range in age from peds to geriatrics. And so we started the Montana Vet Program to fall underneath Eagle Mount Great Falls as their veteran program. And so what we're doing at MVP is we're focusing on taking groups of veterans into the iconic locations of Montana in order to promote healing through camaraderie. Right now, I should say too, with our trips, right, we take our pig egg with us, and our pig egg is a bag full of the 6,894 dog tags from the men and women who've died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it weighs 75 pounds, and we take that with us on all of our trips. Last year, we did a trip through the Bob Marshall Wilderness. It ended up being 112 miles, and 7 of us were able to do that trip. And so now this year we're focusing on 3 different trips. And what we refer to our trips as our veteran-led therapeutic adventure trips. And so we're going to be taking one into the Absaroka Beartooth, and then one we're going to do a float through the Missouri River Breaks, and then we'll also be going into the Selway Bitterroot area. And on all of those trips, again, we'll be bringing our pig egg with us. And so we're looking for participants to join us, as we use our trips to promote healing through camaraderie, physical activity, adventure, and tough-minded healing. I know that you guys are aware of this, but 1 veteran kills himself every week in Montana, and 20 veterans kill themselves every day in our nation, and we need to do something about it. And so a group of us started the Montana Vet Program. And a little bit about myself, too. So I served 8.5 years in the Marine Corps. I did 3 tours. My first tour was during Operation Phantom Fury with 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. So I went through when we took Fallujah. And then my second 2 deployments were as a scout sniper team leader. And then I got done with that, and I became a mountain warfare instructor at the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center, where I was able to attend multiple schools oriented towards mountaineering and survival and all that good G.I. Joe stuff that you see, guys doing. We were actually instructors for that, and so a couple of the guys who were part of the team leader cadre at MVP have also participated in that. And while we were instructors there, we were fortunate enough to take part in kind of a unique opportunity. There's, if you can imagine, there's a group of, let's say, 50 Marines who came together to be instructors at this school. and the majority of us all had deployments, 2 to 3 deployments under our belts. And so we come up to the Mountain Warfare Training Center to be instructors, and we got to spend a lot of time with each other, a lot of time up in the mountains and discussing and talking about the things that we had experienced, some of the things that we had gone through, and we were able to kind of release some of that baggage, if you will, through communication, right, and through that camaraderie piece that we had while we were up there. And so that was one of the bases for starting this program, right, is to get guys talking, to get guys out. I mean, there's therapeutic values just being in nature in itself, and so Montana is one of the most beautiful places, and it's also one of the most raw, wild places in the lower 48, and so it provides a perfect backdrop for our trips to be able to take guys into some of these remote wilderness areas where grizzly bears and wolves and lions and everything, they live, and the guy's got to kind of mind his P's and Q's when you're back in there, and we work together as a team in order to take our pig egg, which is very challenging. 75 pounds on your back is, you're doing it as a team. And so, like I said, it can be very challenging. And so you've got to get it, up and over these mountain passes or wherever our trip may be taking us. But it provides, some suffering. And I think that a lot of times guys who've been in the military can remember what it's like to suffer and can appreciate that piece. And from suffering comes bonding, and from bonding comes friendship. And for a lot of these guys who are struggling, if we can establish friendships for individuals in Montana with other veterans from Montana, then when these guys are struggling, say, 5 months down the road after one of our adventure trips, these guys can then call each other and talk amongst themselves to kind of discuss what's been going on with them or what's causing them to, maybe be feeling down, or why are they getting anxious, or why is depression maybe seeping back in for some of these individuals. And instead of speaking with a counselor who generally is out of touch and isn't relatable to, oftentimes because they're civilians, they're not relatable to veterans. Now veterans have a small network of individuals that they can discuss these issues with, and I think promote that healing piece significantly more efficiently than they could otherwise. And so that's what we're doing. So
one of the issues is River, as you know, we had a great discussion today about it. We do a lot of outdoor activities for veterans, but a lot of these guys, they go into their hidey hole.
Yeah.
And they don't come out. So it's really hard to get them out and into the activities. Have you had much success with that?
I think that's a great point, and I feel like that's something that most veteran organizations that I've spoke with kind of deal with that. And I think that one of the important pieces to overcoming that is really, really increasing your, let's say, social media footprint or your marketing footprint, right? One time we were given a presentation, and I had a Army soldier tell me that he had saw a commercial for a veteran initiative three times before he ever decided, okay, maybe I'll try this, and so it's kind of that, maybe that isolationist kind of mentality, or maybe that, just kind of a reluctancy to try different things, But yeah, absolutely. I absolutely have struggled with trying to find guys to come on our trips. Absolutely. But I think, we get a couple trips under our belt, and word of mouth is one of the best ways to spread a positive message. If you get 3 veterans to go through it, those 3 veterans tell 3 veterans, and then maybe 2 out of those 3 veterans that we're told will show up now. And, we just got to keep pushing, keep fighting. And I think that one of the, in business in general, when you have a good product, it's pretty simple to sell it. You just got to get exposure. And I think that that's where we're at.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the veterans. Now, have you done trips in the past, right?
Yeah, we did. So we did 2 trips last year. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about those. They kind of were the catalyst for the trips this year, correct?
Sure. Yeah, more like the pilot. Yeah. One of our trips that we used last year, so the 112 mile, was also it served as an awareness platform for us, and kind of that marketing piece, as well as a fundraiser.
We have a lot of veterans in Montana that are not utilizing the VA for one reason or another. We've had the VA public affairs officer on Veterans Heartbeat, and the figure we were given was 27,000 veterans that are eligible for health care are not utilizing the system. Do you believe that these kind of outreaches are going to help lower that to where we can get these guys in for care?
I think that'll help, right? And you know, that's the other interesting thing too, is like, if you're going to come be a part of one of our trips, like, there's definitely no agenda that's being pushed. The only agenda being pushed is that veterans are going to go suffer. We're going to go hike through Montana, and we're probably most likely going to talk about dumb stuff like we always do. And in that, I think that, you know, everybody's going to get a different perspective on different things. And you know, the VA absolutely is one of the things that gets talked about quite often, and everybody's got different perspectives. Everybody's got different experiences with the VA. When I talk to veterans and, you know, I tell them about the VA, I definitely strongly encourage that individuals get themselves enrolled so that they can get those benefits. But, you know, it's one of those things. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? But I would say that, to answer your question, I would say yes, I believe that would help decrease that number.
So, Luke, let's talk a little bit about your adventures and what led you to this. Being a Marine, I'm sure you've had some of your comrades complete suicide.
So I've definitely known of individuals around us, who have committed suicide. MVP is definitely, I don't want to say dealt with it firsthand, but I've dealt with it secondhand, individuals knowing other individuals who have committed suicide. Absolutely. But I have to say that I am fortunate that I haven't lost one of my close friends to suicide. But that doesn't mean that it isn't still important to us or to our program, and that's pretty much why we're doing this.
So, Luke, you're doing a lot of strenuous activities. What about the veterans that are having issues with their back, their knees, etc., that can't do these activities?
That's an awesome question. So for veterans who, let's say, like you said, have got beat up knees, or for, like you said, the individuals who have been through an IED explosion and have had their lumbar spine beat up significantly, we have to approach this in a different way, right? And so one of the things that we're doing is we're focusing on the float trips for individuals like that, so that we can have a lower, lower exposure
impact.
Or lower impact, lower impact for these individuals, on their, their ailments. And so we've got the float piece, but we're also working with, and this year is going to be a couple pilots as well, because we're trying to get into a program with Glacier, potentially, and this is all, again, this is very infant stages, or at the beginning of it all, is to, get it to where we can get horseback rides into certain areas of Glacier where guys can be packed back in and then dropped off with team leaders from MVP, and then the pack chain can leave and we do our thing. Additionally, one of the things that we want to try to pursue, and it probably won't be this year, but next year, one of the things that we want to try to do is pursue some of these backwoods pilots, right? Mm-hmm. Bush pilots, so to say. and there's landing strips in the wilderness areas like Summit Meadows, for example, where we could try to get veterans flown back into these areas with team leaders. Like, so we've got team leaders that we can hike in. We'll meet these guys as they get a plane ride back into one of these spots. We'll set up camp for them, and then the plane takes off. We get to hang back in there for a few days, have that that camping exposure, that camaraderie piece, that wilderness isolation piece with other groups of veterans, and then the plane can come back and get them. And so it's really for us, right? That question or that piece is just kind of figuring out, what can we do in order to help guys who, wouldn't generally be able to get back in there. And so those are some of the ways that we've kind of proposed getting these guys out and doing stuff like that. And then even...
Well, that begs the question that if there is a bush pilot out there that's interested in helping veterans, please get a hold of us and we will put you to work.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, might as well ask for it right now.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is River, we work with all organizations that are working with veterans. We do have a side-by-side. If we can use it to help some of these guys get into some places, hey.
Yeah.
The other thing that you were talking about was the float trips. David Lawrence from Pangea has been working with the River program. How long, Jason? A couple years?
About 2 years, yeah.
Anyway, he's going to be putting on a whitewater rafting guide class. It's a 6-day class, and River would like to invite one of your team leaders over to take the class.
Absolutely. When is that going?
We haven't set the date yet, but that would get you qualified to do the whitewater rafting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is, with the activities that you're doing, knowing that you guys focus on suicide, Cascade County is one of the larger counties that are having a lot of the suicide issues.
Right, which makes sense because it's got the second most densely populated county in Montana, if I'm not mistaken.
But the Air Force Base, a lot of retirees end up there.
Yep.
Are you working with any other organizations over there pulling it together? We were very fortunate. We've got the Joining Community Forces here in Missoula, and they're having a great big grand barbecue, and you guys are welcome to come over and see what we're doing.
So actually we'll be at the JCF event in Helena.
Oh, okay.
So I would say that we're participating. So the Vet Center here in Great Falls, we work. I guess I don't know how to phrase it exactly. I mean, we definitely they help push what we're doing. I was a work study there while I went to school, so I know a lot of those guys firsthand and know that they're doing good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the individuals who started the Great Falls Stand Down, I know a lot of those individuals. They got the Healing Waters piece here in Great Falls as well. I know the president of that. And so I guess, yeah, we all work together in the sense that we're, all trying to help veterans. And if somebody's interested in something isn't in the other, or a guy's got a vet who would fit our program, or if, a guy needs to speak with a counselor, or if we need to, talk to some old Vietnam vets about some issues, or kind of pick their brains and kind of get some advice from them. Yeah, but I mean, as far as officially being down on paper, collaborating with somebody, not yet.
Okay.
But that'll come. I mean, like I said.
Well, it sounds like you can be an awful good resource because you know the things going on in Great Falls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, 5-year plan for your program. What do you see?
5-year plan for my program. That's a good question. I haven't really thought that far ahead, in all honesty. To me, which I'm not trying to get out of the question, but for me, it's kind of the next goal, right? So let me give you my 5-month plan, and we'll see where I'm at after that. So in the next 5 months, I want to get these 3 trips done with our veteran-led therapeutic adventure trips, 1, 2, and 3. I want to get our trips done with the female veteran group from the Vietnam Gulf War era. We've got those 3 trips. I want to get those knocked out. And then we're, I've got cameramen and women, all veterans, who are working to capture the majority of what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be releasing our next video October 16th from the Mighty Mo. That's going to give a little bit more of insight into kind of our philosophy and what we're trying to push with the Montana Vet program. And 5 years out after that, I hope to just be established and have a base of individuals who have benefited from our program. And so if we can be helping veterans from other states who want to come in and do our trips, and that's what we want to do. If there's guys out there who are struggling, if there's women out there who are struggling, we want to help. Additionally, I believe that our program is going to work. I'm working with the University of Great Falls right now in order to put our surveys together in order to do a pre-post 6 month, 1 year survey for individuals who participate in our program so that we can then quantify the data from it. And if we can find positive data from that 5 years from now, why not be changing policy, right? If this is the type of therapy that works, if there's something to, veterans helping veterans heal, then maybe we need to start adopting that more. So that's where I want to be in 5 years. I want to be helping more vets.
It sounds like a really good program that you're putting together. It coming from somebody that we're at year 4 in our program, it's real exciting to see another program like this one coming together over in Great Falls.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
How are you doing funding wise?
Good. We've been able to, again, so another, super blessed. There's so many people out there who are willing to help us with our initiatives. We've been pushing our revenue generating initiatives pretty well. Like I said, last year we did our hike. We've done a rifle raffles. We've done a raise a pint night through Mighty Mo. And so we've been really fortunate to have a lot of support from our Great Falls-based community, as well as Helena. We've had a lot of people in Helena support us, and so we're very, very fortunate.
It's been a lively show this morning. Luke, I really appreciate you coming on with us. Is there anything you want to cover, Luke?
All I would say is, again, for individuals who are looking for more information, visit us at our website, and that's www.montanavetprogram.net. You can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. Check out our video. Our website has our applications. We need individuals. We've got 3 trips going this summer. We're going to be taking 12 participants per trip, so we're looking for 36 participants. So yeah, that's just want to get out there and start helping guys. So we need veterans to participate, and in the future we're going to be looking for more team leaders to be taking out more veterans. If we do this and we do it correctly, there's no reason we couldn't be doing 10 veteran-led therapeutic adventure trips per summer. And so there's a lot of opportunity for volunteers. First thing I have to say, too, is I'm so fortunate to have a very, very strong group of veteran volunteers. All the guys and women who work with us are extraordinary individuals with an extraordinary skill sets, and that's why, again, pushing the veteran agenda is so easy when you have veterans who are working with you, because they can do so many different things, and I'm just fortunate to have those individuals. And so pushing forward, we're always going to be looking for more volunteers. We're going to be looking for more participants, for guys to get involved. We've got big plans for the future, and so we got to start small, but we're going to end big. So that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you again, Luke.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
This morning, we're all going to be out at Fort Missoula doing the JCF activities and the suicide walk. I'm going to be riding around in a side-by-side, making sure that if anybody twists an ankle, they get a ride back to the doctor. Great day to come out, enjoy the festivities. Jason and I and the team at River are going to be running a bunch of kids' games. We've got prizes. We've got a beer garden. We have music. There's going to be great food, a lot of vendors. So today is the day. Get your butt out of bed. Get down here. See what's going on. Even if you're a World War II veteran, hey, we want to see you. And we will supply all kinds of fun and all kinds of food for you.
So thank you very much for listening to Veterans Heartbeat. We would not be able to bring this to you without all the support of the listeners. Thank you again to the Man Shop for sponsoring the show. If you are in need of a great haircut, swing by and get a snip. Also, thank you to our main sponsor, River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. They have an array of services such as veterans-focused education and a free vestibular disorder clinic. Check them out on Facebook or on the web at riverofchange.org. Lastly, we would like to show our appreciation to all of our veterans. Thank you for serving our country and keeping us safe.